Hey, how's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Barlo-B-Theorizing, and welcome back to the Barlow Zone, home of the demon hunter that King Kaido himself sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all having a great day like I am. Big day, Fantastic Four First Steps is releasing today. I am still hoping to be able to get to see it this afternoon, but time will tell. Either way, it's been a wonderful, wonderful week for me with 28-year anniversary of One Piece, followed by my birthday, and then today we got Fantastic Four. I have been riding on cloud nine, just not the gaming team. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about some more One Piece stuff. There's something I've been seeing kind of floating around the community that I don't think people are taking into account everything that we've been shown so far and what that actually means. So I did want to go over my thoughts on the Zebek Emu encounter from chapter 1155, I believe it was. Yeah, we got that the last chapter. Sorry, off week. I start to blend the chapters together a little bit. So, but I do believe, I'll correct myself right here if it was 1154. But we had that really cool encounter between Rox and Emo. At least I thought it was cool, just because the context it gives us and the food for thought, and what the video is actually going to be about is the, I guess, presentation, thesis, synopsis, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a little more than a thesis, but it's not quite fully flushed out yet. But my theory on the connection to Davy Jones. Now, it has been kind of floating around the community, but I wanted to pitch the details that I've come across so far and see if I can get any more information from you guys, over on the Discord. If you join, you might not see all the interaction between me and my friends. Sometimes I do DM her. But my friend over on Discord has been a big help with crafting a bunch of my theories. So I always take input from people when it comes to theories I'm trying to put together. Now, for starters, like I said, I wanted to, I guess, kind of clear the air, or at least try to help clear the air about something that happened in the most recent chapter. As we remember, we got a lot of Rock's pirate backstory, some face reveals. I know not everybody's happy about some of them, but I gotta say I love Ochoko, Wang Shi. Like, it's a very One Piece character design, and I expected nothing else from Oda. He gives us his all in every chapter with every character design. So I personally don't take to questioning his choices when it comes to character design, regardless of whatever silhouette may have existed in the past. Silhouettes are placeholders in One Piece. It's sometimes, like with the Gorosei, might give us a hint as to something that's upcoming, but for the most part, silhouettes don't really mean anything. That being said, I do think emus mean something. It's been so consistent and persistent every appearance. So I do think that one is going to account to something. But what does it account to, right? And that's kind of going to float into the theory later. What I want to talk about from the chapter is the fact that it was identified that Rox killed an admiral while he was at Marie-Joie. And we got confirmation that Rox also made it to the flower room to have this conversation with Ema, right? Now that right there was really all the information I needed, but I'd like to at least take a minute or two real quick to break it down why this seems so clear cut to me. Because we're talking about Emu, we're talking about the Gorosei, we're talking about the God's Knights at this point, right? We're getting to the heart of Marie-Joie, some that's supposed to be the most defended location on the planet, right? If Rox killed an admiral on his way to the flower room, 100% the God's Knights and or Gorosei would have been there to meet him when he got there. They wouldn't have just let him through to talk to Emo. That fits more in line with the subterfuge part. Rox, however, it's going to be shown, managed to slip his way in without really coming across too much of a hassle. Which kind of leads into the second point. Some I wanted to, I don't want to say clarify because this one is much less clear, but I guess float an opposing viewpoint, right? Because you don't want to tear people's opinions down without offering some kind of information for them to think about. So I think personally, I'm taking it as, I apologize if you guys could hear that. A lot of my neighbors got those real douched out cars, like to make a lot of noise. If you didn't, then I just had one of them pull out muffler on full blast. It got me distracted. Oh yeah, I'm taking it as confirmation or soft confirmation that Oda is establishing the seeds for the fact that the Gorosei and Emu have not mastered any of the levels of haki. Now, observation, just knowing about it, you can use it if you know you need to detect the presence of stuff around. But with mastered observation, it's more like a spidey sense when it comes to that. It's like, oh, hey, there's a new flavor of haki I'm not used to. Better go check that out. I do believe while I'm editing, I'll look for it. If I do find the panel, I'll make sure to put it up here for us. I do believe I remember seeing Saturn using some level of armament haki on Egghead while he was fighting Luffy and all them. And then obviously we got the burst of conquerors that we see from time to time, most recently when Emu took over Gunko's body. I'm referring to her as Imko. There's some different variations floating around. I really kind of enjoy them all because Gunko and Emu they just have names that fit together like that. But I'm referring to her as Imko. Yeah, Imko. Im plus ko. Yeah. So we do know that they at least are aware of the existence of haki and that it's a power system. But we have no reason to believe that any of them have mastered any level of haki. So I just feel like that's something we need to keep in the back of our minds, because it does perfectly explain how Rox or Sabo would be able to get that far into Castle Pangaea without being detected beforehand, right? And these are answers we need because they're important, especially when we're dealing with pieces and players as powerful as the Gorosei and Emu. Now, I just wanted to kind of float that out there. That would explain how Rox got as far as he did. And then as far as killing the Admiral, like I said, if he had done that on his way into Castle Pangaea, the God's Knights and or Gorosei would have responded at some point in there. There wouldn't have been a get to Emu, talk to him, get out type thing. It's much more likely that Rox ran into this Admiral on his way either out of Pangaea or on his way towards where Harold was, because there is the possibility this Admiral was already embroiled in combat with Harold when he got the call, like, hey, Lord Emu was just attacked, or we were just attacked in Pangaea Castle, Gorosei are unable to respond, God's Knights are AFK, hey Admiral, we need you to get over there. It could have easily been something like that, and that's when Rox most likely caught that body. Either way, power scale moment, super impressive. Primo. Now, I did say I wanted to, because that took a little longer than I thought, looking at 9.5 minutes so far. I did want to at least get into a little bit of my theory about Davy Jones, because it's something I've been kind of researching here and there. I don't like to invest just masses of time when I'm going into research territory, because I don't script any of this. This is just me talking about the stuff I've found, theories that have come from the stuff I found. So to make sure that I retain the information long enough to get it back to you guys, or long enough to be able to form a theory out of it. I'll sometimes pitch my theories in pieces. So to start this one, I am pitching the idea that Nika, the original back in the first era, was Davy Jones, and Emu is Calypso. For those unaware with the folklore and tale behind Davy Jones, it's a pretty fun one. There are a few different versions out there, but for the sake of a pirate story, it seems more than likely that Oda is co-opting some bits and pieces from the pirate version of the folklore. Uh, in the pirate version, it said that Davy Jones was one of the first pirates, a powerful man in his own right, but fell in love with Calypso and believed her to be falling in love with him as well, right? Turns out Calypso wasn't as much in love with Davy Jones as she was with the idea of somebody helping her do her job. Because in his love, Davy Jones offered to take on part of Calypso's responsibilities, which was to ferry the souls of sailors who died at sea to the afterlife. Something that seems really cool for a pirate, forever after, even after your passing, you are going to be associated with this life because it's your job that every man and woman who dies, well, real life version, it really wouldn't have been women because women were seen as bad luck on ships back in the day. Super outdated. I'm really happy Oda hasn't been going with that plot point. But it would seem like something cool for a pirate, right? In theory, at least. So yada yada. Long story short, after Davy Jones took on this responsibility, is when Calypso revealed her machinations and double crossed him more or less. So now he's stuck in this promise, this role, responsibility of ferrying souls to the afterlife, but all he wanted was revenge. So he stopped. He just stopped doing his job, which connects to the folklore behind Davy Jones' locker being the bottom of the sea. But I mean, obviously, the first thing that's going to probably come to a lot of people's minds is, oh, Davy Jones, the Will of D. It's the Will of Davy Jones. Could be. That's not what I'm pitching here. Although, it's something I've never been able to come up with a solid theory on what the Will of D is. So, I don't know. Maybe with that one, I'm just writing it out. Maybe I'm still waiting for some more clues. Maybe this theory will feed another one, and I will be coming back with the Will of Davy Jones video or something. I don't know, some stupid catchy, try and catch the eye. That's what YouTubers try to do, come up with a thumbnail, a title, something that'll catch the eye, make you want to watch. But because of that, because there's this seemingly deep connection between Nika, Joy Boy, Luffy, and Emu. I guess Luffy would be included through the powers of the Gomu Gomu no Mi. I think it's with how much Oda has taken from the real world. I think it would be kind of pocket sand to the face if we never got anything with Davy Jones beyond the Davy back fight. So, like I said, I'm still in the beginnings of figuring this theory out. I would love to hear back from you guys. Let me know, what have you found that seems to connect Emu or Luffy or potentially even Blackbeard to Davy Jones? As always, let me know in the comments if you know anything I don't. I would love to hear from you guys. I will make sure to drop a link to the Discord community in the bio. I try to make sure I post every day on X and Tumblr at Barlo-B-Theorizing. Feel free to stop by, say hello. And a big thank you to anybody who watched the last video. So much love. Like, that hit 50 in the first day. I know there's small numbers, this small channel though. Seeing that 50 views was a blessing to me, and I love every one of y'all for that. So super big shout out to at the point of shooting this video, all 69 of you noise who have watched that one so far. I appreciate y'all. You know, just the view means a lot to me, regardless of likes or comments. But I do always try to respond anytime anybody's coming to me with ideas, thinks they have something to disprove a theory. I love those comments more than anything, because they force me to relook at stuff and see if it still tracks with the new info. But, you know, let me know. What are your theories about the connection between Davy Jones and the characters in One Piece? What angle is Barlo not seeing? As always, though, love y'all, friends. See you next time.